Isn't that why we formed the Justice League? To do what's right.
Protecting the monsters. Look who you're standing with.
Everyone has to make their own choice about this.
Oh, so now he's God.
From what I've heard, most of the magical heroes feel the same way.
Superman, you've had an unfathomable loss. You need time to process
Let it out. Let yourself fall apart.
You took his wife. You took his unborn child. Why?
After all these years, Batsy, you really need reasons from me? Now that's a punchline.
What happened to Metropolis can never be allowed to occur again.
I won't be held back by ideals that don't protect the innocent.
You'll throw away everything the Justice League stands for.
You're his best friend. Talk to him.
Superman has created a police state. He needs to be stopped.
The laws of Superman will not be the laws of Atlantis.
This time, the joke's on you.
I thought I could redeem you. I was wrong.
What is going on, everybody? Back again today to do another movie review. As you can tell by the title, we're talking about Injustice. It's just called Injustice. It's not Gods Among Us or anything like that. This is the animated film adaptation of the storyline that is featured in, I want to say the games, but most of the storyline you see in this movie takes place in the prequel comic book series that we got after the games already came out. And that's good because the plot of the game, at least the first game, is kind of lackluster in my opinion. It's a multiverse story, but it was based around this idea of like, what if we did Mortal Kombat but with just DC characters? And that's a bad idea right off the bat because there are some DC characters that should just not be able to fight each other and like win. Like Batman should not be able to just straight up fist fight Superman and win. If Batman has other things going on, he's staged the fight scene and this and that, then maybe. But like, or like Green Arrow fighting, not Green Arrow, who like Catwoman fighting Bane, like that should not be a thing. But that's neither here nor there. The movie just tries to adapt the source material story that was laid down pretty much in the prequel comic book series that came out as a tie-in with the video game, and that story is Superman is evil. This is a Superman is evil and has become a world dictator story. We've seen this done before in a lot of different ways, but this is a pretty good one. Little just premise right off the bat. The Joker tricks Superman into killing Lois Lane, who is pregnant with his son, and then also he nukes Metropolis. So yeah, Superman, that puts Superman over the edge. He tracks the Joker down. As you saw in the trailer, he puts his fucking fist through the Joker's chest, kills the Joker, and Superman decides, yo, enough of this shit. Like, I'm a fucking god, and you are all tiny little insects compared to me, and I've been playing nice, but since you don't want to get with the fucking program, I'm done playing nice, so I'm going to take these fucking gloves off, and I'm going to show you that, like, you don't really get a choice. You don't get a choice. I can kill you all anytime I want. I am so above and beyond you all. You have no choice but to just shut the fuck up and listen to me. And that's the route he goes. Batman, of course, is not cool with it. There are a number of DC comic book heroes and villains that kind of go along with Superman and others that don't. Wonder Woman, for instance, sides with Superman. She thinks he's in the right. Green Arrow sides with Batman. Catwoman obviously sides with Batman. This is basically, it all boils down to basically DC's Civil War. Like DC, you get the feeling like DC wanted to do a Civil War story, but they couldn't just outright come out and be like DC Civil War. They would have gotten ripped on too much. So they went with this Injustice line, and then it got made into a game, and then a comic, and now a movie. So how's the movie? The plot holds up. You know, it's fairly I found it fairly interesting and enjoyable to watch, to see Superman just become more and more tyrannical, more and more dictatorial, and to see which heroes sided with him, which ones sided against him. Some of them kind of choose a happy middle ground, like they side with him, but sometimes he comes to them asking them to do stuff for him, and that's when they go, "Look, man, I'm on your side, but I'm not going to do that for you." And usually those instances end with Superman raising his level of tyranny. Like, because as soon as they say no to him, he has them locked the fuck up. Yeah, it was pretty good. Story-wise, it was pretty good all the way up until the end. The final act, it really just kind of like feels like it feels like the director and the creators of this movie, when they got to the final act, they went, "All right, wrap this shit up. Like, just wrap it up, put a bow on it, let's go." They really didn't. It feels like they didn't know how to end it properly, because it's a movie based on a game essentially. I mean, it's got a better story than it lends itself better to a movie than any other video game out there, but I'm not gonna say any other, but quite a few. But animation wise, you got a taste of it in the trailer I just showed you. That's a trailer, and that trailer is meant to, get you interested and make you want to watch the movie. So clearly, like that, it goes without saying, they put some of their best animated scenes in that trailer. There are a lot of moments in this where the animation seems lackluster. There's those moments where it feels choppy, like the character isn't running and moving smoothly. It feels like they're kind of stopping in between little motions, like almost like those flip page books where like you do the little drawing on a bunch of pages, and when you flip them real fast, it makes like a motion, an animation. It almost feels like that, which seems, in this day and age, that seems really cheap and just shitty. But you get the vibe, as like with this DC animated movie, like with all the animated movies they do, they're given a certain budget, and then they try to allocate that budget as appropriately as possible. Like, they're like, okay, what scenes are going to require the most money, and what scenes are going to require the least? And they obviously, the fight and action sequences are going to require the most money and require the best animation, so they put the budget towards those, and those tend to look okay in here. But there are plenty of moments though where you're like, wow, the animation quality just really kind of took a dive there for a second, sometimes for longer than a second. Voice acting was all good, no complaints there. Justin Hartley did a good job as Superman. I don't know who voiced Batman. I really just didn't give a shit. I was like, I did not go into this movie with a lot of expectations. It was more like, I just want to see what's going on, namely because in the DC animated movie universe, the new one that they started up with the Superman Man of Tomorrow, and then like they continued it with Batman Long Halloween and Justice Society World War II. Justice Society World War II in particular, like out of all the movies in this new animated movie universe, Justice Society World War II has shown that they've already introduced the concept of the multiverse. So to me, that means I'm looking at all the DC animated movies that come out, all of them from now on, like, that could potentially tie into it later. I should watch it just in case to see if it does. So I mainly wanted to watch this to see if, like, does it acknowledge this greater animated movie universe that they're building? And even if it does not, could it be included? Yeah, it could. In this movie, they show that Cyborg and a lot of the other characters, they and Mr. Terrific, they have clear knowledge of the multiverse. They know it exists. In fact, like, let's go ahead and get into what I said about the final act of this movie and how it all falls apart. Superman has reached like max level tyrannical dictator, and they say that the first thing they're going to do really is, Batman's like, we got to break Mr. Terrific out of Superman's prison because we need him to disarm his T-spheres that Superman is using to like using them for surveillance of his new police state that he's created. So they break Mr. Terrific out of jail. They take him to this open field, and he does not in any way act like they never mention the T-spheres again. They get to this open field, and he sets up this device that opens up a portal to an alternate Earth, and out from the alternate Earth steps Earth 9 Superman. They address him as they're like, Earth 9 Superman, welcome to Earth 1. And then Earth 9 Superman says, actually, we're Earth 1. You guys are Earth 22. And they're like, oh, it's supposed to just be like cracking jokes about the multiverse and how it's overcomplicated. It was kind of funny, but I was just kind of like, okay, so these guys clearly have knowledge of the multiverse. But then I was like, okay, so hold on. If this is, they called this, the Injustice characters called this new Superman the Superman of Earth 9. However, this supposed Earth 9 Superman thinks of himself as the Earth 1 Superman, and he thinks of the Injustice universe as Earth 2. So I'm sitting here going, yo, is this Earth 9 / Earth 1 Superman? Is this new Superman? Is he supposed to be the main one? The one that we saw in Justice Society World War II? Or is it another Superman, and it has nothing to do with that animated movie universe at all? I don't know. There wasn't really any clarification on that, and it didn't really matter because this new Superman that they bring in, he just kind of shows up. He has a fight with evil tyrannical Superman. Evil tyrannical Superman beats his ass, and then that's it. And he's just kind of like, he beats the shit out of him. And then the way that they really solve the problem is they then bring in an alternate reality version of Lois Lane to, like, you know, have an emotional moment with tyrannical Superman and convince him that, like, this is not what she would have wanted and blah, blah, blah. And that's what gets him to stop. And it makes the overall, when you see that, it makes you kind of feel like, well, what was the point of having the Superman versus Superman fight then? Like, if the Lois Lane thing was always an option, and it definitely sounds like the better option to just anyone. Like, who do you think's more likely to get through to him? An alternate reality version of himself that's never gone through the pain and loss that he's gone through? Or Lois Lane, the wife that he lost? Probably her. So it makes it seem like, why did you even do this, like, alternate Superman versus Superman fight? Why did we even go through that? Well, it's because they're trying to stay true to the lore, like the story from the video game. And in the video game, that's kind of the premise. Like, you start out playing as the main DC characters and you end up crossing over into this evil Superman world. And the game ends with good, traditional, normal Superman fighting evil, tyrannical dictator Superman. So they kind of wanted to throw that in there just to be kind of loyal to the game and the source material. For me, though, I was kind of wishing that they would have just, you know, tweaked it a little bit. It's like, you know, I get it. It's called Injustice, and it's kind of supposed to be an adaptation of the video game story. But I personally would have been totally fine if they'd have taken some liberties, tweaked some shit, and the Superman versus Superman fight in the end did not need to take place. To be honest, the whole the movie didn't need to have a happy ending, you know? If it had ended off with Superman ruling the world as a tyrannical dictator and Batman and his resistance are just hiding underground trying to rebel against him, if that's where the movie left off, but it also connected to the greater animated movie universe, that would have been dope, because that opens up possibilities in my mind, like, oh, we're going to get another movie down the line where we revisit this world. And that's where we might see the Superman from Superman Man of Tomorrow, and the Batman from Batman Long Halloween, and the Flash from Justice Society. That's where we might see these characters come over here and save this world. So that's really what I felt. I didn't feel like the movie didn't need to have a wrapped up, resolute ending. This could have just been almost like a part one introductory story to show, hey, here's a world where Superman became a tyrannical dictator and he's evil. And it could have just left off with that and been like, remember that. We'll come back to that later. I would have been fine with that. But no, it tries to wrap it up at the end and put a bow on it, and it does it in a very rushed fashion. Yeah. So, not a very long review. Overall, I give the movie a B-. It could have been better if there were just some slight differences to it. But overall, a B-. I still think it's good, and I guess it still has the potential to be touched on by the greater DC animated movie universe that they're making. There's nothing in this movie that makes it so that they couldn't do it. You know what I mean? And in fact, it does kind of open up to the possibility, because they directly acknowledge the existence of the multiverse in this. Whether or not that other Superman was the one we know from Man of Tomorrow, still kind of up in the air. We don't really know, but, you know, whatever. So yeah, that's my take on the Injustice movie. B minus. Not too bad. Animation gets shitty in some areas because they had to prioritize the budget. On that note, on the off chance, on the damn near impossible chance that someone from DC Animation sees this video, guys, look, I get it. Like, we're at a stalemate here. You guys are like, we're willing to spend more money on these movies and make them look fantastic animation-wise, but before we do that, we're going to need to see a vote of confidence from the fans that tells us, we should spend that money. We don't want to risk spending that money and we don't get any increased viewership. And then we over here as the fans are going, we really want to view more of these and watch more of these and have a greater amount of faith in these. But before we start committing to buying them, we need to see you guys put the proper money into them and make them look nice. So we're both just kind of like at a stalemate waiting for the other one to move. I'm going to tell you guys now, in case DC Animation people, it's your business and careers and paychecks that are on the line, not ours. So in the end, it's you guys that are going to have to cave first. For better or worse, you're just going to have to pump a fuck ton of money into these movies. Pump a fuck ton of money into these movies and make them absolutely amazing, and then roll the dice and see if you get increased viewership. Your viewership will go up for sure. Will it go up to the numbers that you want? I don't know. We'll have to see. There are a lot of people out there that are very, very, very much so craving a solid, cohesive, well-constructed DC continuity. It can contain the multiverse. It can contain the multiverse, but we just want a solid version of DC that is a well-constructed, cohesive narrative. And we don't really have that right now. And a lot of people really want it. So if you guys decide to like, hey, let's do that in the form of animation, let's pump a fuck ton of money into animation, and let's give them basically the equivalent of the MCU, but just in animated form for DC, that's fine. I think we would all accept that for the most part. As long as the movies are good and the animation looks good. But if you keep doing shit like this, where the animation has its like up and down and up and down, and then you kind of get these bullshit phone it in endings. When the movies keep being B minuses, that you're never gonna go up. All right, you guys are at some point you're just gonna have to take a fuck ton of money and roll the dice trying to make an A+ film. You're gonna have to. But anyway, that's my take on Injustice. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments below, get the discussion started. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. That really helps out the channel. And in terms of helping the channel, you could also check out some of my other videos, maybe even subscribe. And if you do, I thank you. I thank you for watching the whole video if you stayed to the end. And other than that, I will see you guys next time.